So if you're thinking of moving to Siem Reap, the home of the ancient temples, cheap beer, and heat that'll make you question your life choices before breakfast, well, you've come to the right video. Today I'm going to break down the pros and cons of living in Siem Reap, Cambodia's second largest city. From living like royalty on a backpacker budget, to sweating through 3 t-shirts a day, as well as befriending more mosquitoes than actual humans. Is it paradise? Is it chaos? Or is it just one long tuk-tuk ride you never got off? Stick around, because by the end of this video you know exactly what you're signing up for, so you guys can decide for yourself whether it's worth it in 2026. So let's start with the pros. A relaxed lifestyle. Life here moves at a slower pace. There's less stress, less rush, and there's more time to enjoy the simpler things, whether it's having coffee, or a mango smoothie by the river, or watching the sunset over a rice field. You can do whatever you like. And the traffic too, it doesn't feel chaotic. You don't have to play the game Frogger to cross the road like its neighbouring countries. I very rarely hear anyone even use their horns, which if you've been to Vietnam, you know they use their horns every second just for fun. Here it doesn't seem to have that kind of culture. I even seen a near car crash the other day, or a near tuk-tuk crash I should say, when neither of the drivers said anything. They didn't even beep their horn and they didn't even make any facial changes. It was quite a shock to me because it happened right in front of me. They literally just moved away from each other and carried on as if they didn't nearly crash into each other. Now, if that was in any other country in Southeast Asia, I don't think it would be that chill, so the lifestyle here is a relaxed one, that's for sure. Now, onto one of the biggest advantages of living in Siem Reap, which is how affordable it is. Rent is stupidly cheap. I pay $250 a month, and that comes with a rooftop pool, free Wi-Fi, a fixed $5 a month water bill, and the apartment itself is a lot bigger than the one I had back in Thailand. Food is super cheap also. I can even order a meal from my phone for less than $2, and I can get whatever I want. The options are almost endless. And the street food is mostly anywhere between $2 to $3 on average. Transportation, aka tuk-tuks, are also very reasonable. In fact, instead of a different price every time, when I go to the gym it costs me $1 exactly every time, which is nice. And obviously it's all significantly cheaper than the Western countries, but you can live comfortably on a modest budget. Especially if you eat like a local, avoid the luxury imports, but the alcohol here is dangerously cheap. And most of the cans give you a chance to win not only another free beer, or a discount, or a free $1 off, which seems to come in every other beer, which if I was back in my drinking days, I'd be in heaven right now. A friendly community. Siem Reap has a welcoming vibe. The locals are extremely warm, kind, and some of the most welcoming people I've ever come across. I mean, I can't walk down the street without kids waving and saying hello, and everyone else I see sending a smile your way. And it's made me a bit friendlier for sure. I mean, I have to be, otherwise I end up looking like a proper grumpy bugger. And there's enough Englishmen like that back home, so I got to at least try and change that stereotype a little bit. And the expat community here is tight-knit and supportive. I see so many online groups, always helping each other, giving advice, and when I walk past the cafes here, I see so many of them working on their laptops together. Plus, it's relatively easy to make friends and build connections. Or so I've heard anyway. Plus, there's actually a lot of young expats here, which goes against the stereotype that it's just old men with a tops off drinking every day. But of course, now and again, you'll see them close to Pub Street, but the overall image is definitely changing. You'll be surprised the type of expats that are here, and actually staying here long term as well. It's definitely of a higher quality than compared to the previous city in Thailand I lived in, which had the nickname Sin City for that reason. So it's a nice change of scenery here. Now onto the food and culture, because living here means you're going to be surrounded by rich history and culture, from traditional markets to festivals, waterfalls, mountain sunsets, and of course Angkor Wat, the biggest religious monument in the world. So there's always something fascinating to explore. Also, the food scene is surprisingly diverse. You've got everything from authentic Khmer street food to international restaurant. And I mean, if you like pizza, you have far too many options here. There's so many pizza places. And there's even vegan cafes if you like to eat non-real food, so you can really have whatever you want. With all the trendy brunch spots, you'll be able to take that Instagram picture, no problem. And I'll say this, the food itself is definitely underrated. I've enjoyed nearly every meal I've tried here. They're not too spicy and they're extremely flavourful. You'll be surprised, you just have to give it a chance. Now let's move on to the cons of living in Siem Reap. Now it is a tourist town, Siem Reap wants tourism and tourists to come here, because it's how some of them make their money. Plus, it is how it started, being the closest city to Angkor Wat. So during the peak season it will be busier, you'll see all the tourists, especially in the centre, and even more so at night when the sun goes down and it's cool enough for everybody to appear out of nowhere. And during the low season it will be a lot quieter. You'll have the roads, and sometimes a whole restaurant to yourself. So half the year you'll see backpackers every day, and then all of a sudden they'll disappear and it'll just be you and the locals. Which I don't mind, but for some I know this will be a con, because half the time it's the opposite of whatever you prefer, because you get the best of both sides really over the whole year. So if you don't like that changing, and half the year being busy and the other half being quiet, then Siem Reap's not for you. So you might say Siem Reap is a big city, but it's actually a small city. Once you've walked around everywhere and get to know people, you'll see the same faces over and over again. And while that's a pro for some like me, others might find it lacking in overall entertainment, shopping, or even the fast-paced urban energy that comes with a real big city. I mean, you can easily find yourself going to the same restaurants and places, and when it comes to the nightlife and party scene, it's all around Pub Street, and that area pretty much. So it's by no means a big city, I would not call it that. Now on to infrastructure challenges. Because while things are still developing, infrastructure isn't always reliable. There's power outages, inconsistent internet, which although my Wi-Fi is free in my apartment, it's not the most reliable. Every few days there's always one day where it loves to go on and off randomly, which makes things interesting to say the least. But you can always have your mobile data as a backup, because it doesn't usually stay off for too long anyway. But it can be frustrating if you're halfway through something and the internet just drops. I mean, it's even made me pick up a book again, while I wait for the internet to return, which is shocking, I know. And you could even say it's a good thing, but it's only because it's either that, or I end up trying to reconnect my Wi-Fi 20 times before it comes back on its own. And the flooding during the heavy rains can also happen, and I'm sure I'll get to see more of that myself soon. Now look, this one was no surprise, the hot and humid climate. If you're in Southeast Asia, or even Asia in general mostly, you'll have to deal with the extreme weather. But Cambodia is hot, like really hot, even more so than Thailand I'd say. And maybe because Siem Reap I'm surrounded more by the nature, which makes it more humid, so some days 2 showers just isn't enough. I have cold showers, and even after I've showered, it doesn't take too long to start sweating as soon as you walk outside. So if you don't like sweating every time you leave your apartment, you might not be the biggest fan of Siem Reap. Temperatures often stay high year round, the humidity can be intense, especially during the rainy season, which also brings the floods, and apparently, at least what I've read online, sometimes you'll even have to swim to the other side of the road. At least that's what I've read. As I said, I haven't yet to see it myself, but I'm sure I'll find out soon. Now on to healthcare, because in Siem Reap it is improving, don't get me wrong, but it is limited right now. For any serious medical issues, many people travel to Phnom Penh or even Bangkok. So this can be a concern for long-term residents, but with Thailand next door as the medical hub of Southeast Asia, it should help you put your mind at ease, but it definitely seems to be one of the bigger things that people worry about when moving here. So that's why I've put this on the con list, that's for sure. But as for my final thoughts on Siem Reap, I say it's a unique and a great place to live. It's affordable, culturally rich, very peaceful, and it's perfect if you want a slower pace of life. But it also comes with its trade-offs. It might not be ideal for someone who needs the big city conveniences and doesn't like hearing the loud lizards or geckos or whatever they are every day, because I always hear them. So honestly, it depends on what kind of life you're looking for. If your dream is fast trains, corporate ambition, and paying $14 for coffee while pretending to enjoy networking events, Siem Reap might not be the old place. But if you like slower mornings, cheaper rent, friendly chaos, amazing food, and the ability to get a massage for less than the price of parking at the airport, suddenly things start making sense. Living here is a strange mix of peace and confusion. One minute you're watching the sunrise over Angkor Wat feeling spiritually reborn, the next minute your Wi-Fi dies, your fan stops working, and that gecko is judging you from the ceiling. So it's not for everyone. I mean, some people visit for 3 days and leave and never come back. Others come for 2 weeks and accidentally build their entire personality around mango smoothies and linen shirts and decide this is their new home. And that's usually how it starts. Siem Reap has a way of pulling people in quietly. And it's not with skyscrapers or big city excitement, but with small routines, familiar faces, and that weird feeling of, I think I could stay here longer. And then suddenly it's been 3 years and you're explaining to tourists where to get the best noodles, like you yourself have become one of those old men from Pub Street. That's when you know you didn't just visit Siem Reap adopted you. But that's it for today's videos on the pros and cons of living in Siem Reap. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.